All right, like I said, somebody asked me about these quizzes, so let's take quiz 2. Solve for x. Okay, let's take this over to DOM equation editor again. And again, we'll just put some spaces in just to make it easier to read. Okay, so I want to solve for x. In order to solve for x, I need everything with an x on one side. So what I'm going to do is, both these terms have x's on them. I need to get this term that has an x over there as well. So I'm going to add positive 37x to both sides. So I'm going to add it over there. I'm going to add it over here. Now, of course, these two can be combined. They're like terms. They don't have the r. But if you want to think about it in terms, they all have an x. And all you're doing is adding all three of them. So 37 plus 19, that's 56. But if you want to think about how this works, if this was a 10, you'd add on 10. If it was a 4, you'd add on 4. The thing is, you're adding on something you don't know. You're adding on an r. Now this equals w, because the negative 37x and the positive 37x go away, add up to 0. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to divide both sides by, so I have this, I'm going to take this side, which has the 56 plus r times by x. I'm going to divide that by 56 plus r. And then I'm also going to do that to the other side of the equation. So the w is going to be on top, and on bottom is going to be 56 plus r. And so now over here, these cancel out, and you're simply left with x equals w over 56 plus r. Now let's go back. There we go. Okay, so x equals, we need a fraction, w over 56 plus r. There we go. Next question. How many solutions does the following equation have? Well, typically, you don't see any squared, you don't see any weird fractions. This is what would be called a linear equation. It almost certainly has one of two. I mean, it could technically be any of these. The key is, does the z's drop out or something like that? So again, if we copy this, take it over the DOM equation editor, drop it in here. Again, I just like to put some spaces just so it's not quite so pinched together and cluttered. So I'm going to start by applying the distributive property. So I get negative 5z minus 5 equals negative 2z plus 10. Now, I don't actually have to finish this problem to know whether it has one answer or two answers or infinite number of answers. It's all about the z's, okay? If the z's completely go away, so if I added 2z to both sides or 5z to both sides and you have no z's left and it says negative 5 equals 10, well, negative 5 never equals 10. That is no solutions. If I add it to both sides and they go away and you have like 10 equals 10, well, 10 always equals 10. That's an infinite number of solutions. But since the z's aren't going to drop out, you're going to have a z equals some number. The answer to that problem has to be 1. And you got that one correct. Which of the following has infinite? Now, I just told you, infinite is about having it always be a true statement. So in this statement right here, if you notice how the 46x is on both sides. So if you added negative 46 to both sides, it would go away and you're left with negative 23 equals positive 23. That is never true. So that's no solutions. Here, again, this time the x's don't even go away, because if you add 46x to both sides, you get 92. This has one solution. This one, if you add the negative 46x to both sides, you're left with 23 equals 23. That is always true. that is an infinite number of solutions. And then again, this one, the x's don't disappear. All right, here we go again. We're solving for x. I'm going to cut and paste this, take it over to the DOM equation editor so we can look at it. Again, I'm going to put a few spaces in it just to make it more visually easy to see. So I'm going to start yet again, distributive property. 5a minus ax equals bx minus 8. Now, if I'm solving for x, I want all the x's on one side. So I'm going to choose to add ax to both sides. Now, why would I want to do it that way? Well, I want them to be positive. And since I've got that negative ax, I'm going to add it to both sides so that on the other side, both both the ax and the bx are positive. So I do that. I add ax to both sides of that equation. You can see I'm going to line the equal signs up so it's a little easier to see. Okay, see, I just added the ax to both sides. Now on this side, it's just going to, those two ax's are going to add up to 0. So I'm left with 5a equals. And on this side, again, I'm taking an ax and a bx. Now, if that was 3 and 7, you'd add them together and get 10. But I can't add them together because they're not a number. It's unknowns. But I can know that it's still going to be a plus b x. I have some sum minus 8. Now I'm solving for x. So this 8 needs to go away. So I'm going to add 8 to this side. I'm going to add 8 to this side. Now when I do that, over here, now again, you're going to notice I'm going to flip this around. This is not more correct. It's just how math people would write it. We like to have the variables first. It's not, again, it's not more right or less right if you don't do it. It's just it's just something you're going to see math people do. It's etiquette. Over here, these add up to 0, so they're basically gone. And now I'm on that last step again, where I'm going to divide both sides by a plus b. So I'm going to take, again, we're going to have a fraction. You're going to have 5a plus 8 divided by a plus b equals a plus bx divided by a plus b. And now on this side, these will divide away because they cancel, they reduce to 1. And you're just left with this fraction equals x. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to present that answer. So it's x equals, we're going to have a fraction. I'm going to double check what my answer was. It says it's 5a plus 8. So on top is 5a plus 8. And on bottom, it was a plus b. A plus b. And I'm going to check my answer. And again, I am correct. All right, last one. How many solutions does this following equation have? Okay, so if you add these two together, you get negative 5x. So notice there's a negative 5x on both sides. So if I add 5x to both sides, they both go away. And I'm left with 9 equals negative 12. 9 is never equal to negative 12. That's no solutions. And we're done. Again, never hesitate to ask questions. I'll do my best to answer them for you.